From the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that Sulaiman ibn Dawood, Sulaiman alayhi salam, the son of Dawood alayhi salam, لما بنى بيت المقدس, when he actually finished, when he finished making this house, the actual house of worship, which is the Masjid al-Aqsa, or the masjid, not the dome of the rock, not the masjid that we have got the golden dome over, but there is another masjid which has a silver dome, smaller than that masjid, in the vicinity, around the vicinity, you can see it. That is Baytul Maqdis. So you know many of these pictures that you've got about, many of these pictures of Masjid al-Aqsa, it says Masjid al-Aqsa, and then it shows you a golden dome. That is not actually Masjid al-Aqsa. You need to look a couple of 100 yards away. There will be a smaller masjid with a silver dome, and that is actually Masjid al-Aqsa. It is a scheme to make the Muslims believe that the golden dome is Masjid al-Aqsa. But that is not the case. So anyway, when on that place, when they call it the Solomon Temple, or when he built his great grandeur temple, he then asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for three things. Sa'al Allah, he asked Allah, he said, "Oh Allah, I want to judge according to your judgment." Number one. Number two, he said, وَمُلْكًا لَا يَنْبَغِي لِأَحَدٍ مِّن بَعْدِهِ. He said that, "Oh Allah, I want you to give me such a sovereignty, such a reigning on this earth, that no one after me will ever get this type of reigning ever again." So that's why Sulaiman alayhi salam, he was the only king that ruled the entire world. He ruled the ins and the jinn. He ruled the men, and he also ruled the jinns. He also knew the kalam, or the speech of the birds, and so on. And then the third thing that he made dua for was, he said, "Allah ya'tiyahu ahad la yanhazuhu illa salah fihi an yakhrujahu min khati'ati ka yawmin waladatu, aw yukhrijahu min khati'ati ka yawmin waladatu ummu." He said, "I do not want anyone to come to this temple of mine, to this place of worship of mine, except that person, they came to this place what for? They came only to pray. They did not come for any other reason. They only came to pray here. That this masjid, Masjid al-Aqsa, or this temple of mine, or this place of worship, this will make them leave this place like the day their mothers gave birth to them, which means that they have no sin whatsoever." So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam then adds on, he says, فَأُعْطِيَ جَمِيعَ ذَلِكَ, that Allah gave Sulaiman alayhi salam all three things. All three things he gave to him. So since this is Ardul Muqaddasa, that is the reason why, and you can also call it Ard al-Muqaddisa, which means that the earth itself, that part purifies. It's either a purified place or it's a purifying place. Both of them are okay. In the Quran we've got Ard al-Muqaddasa, which is the purified place. This is in the Holy Quran, and that means that Allah Azza wa Jalla, He has purified it. But according to this hadith, you can also say Ard al-Muqaddis. Both of them are okay according to linguistics. The next thing is that we have a hadith, and it's again to explain the meaning of quds, or Quddus, the name of Allah Azza wa Jalla, Quddus. How do we know this explanation? We know through a hadith. For example, there's a hadith where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he himself mentioned the word taqdis or quddisat. He mentioned this word. Now the whole hadith has got a whole background to it. What this background is, and this is a Sahih hadith in Ibn Majah 2426, that's the number. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anhu, he says that a Bedouin came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he was asking for his money back, which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam took of him as a loan. He wanted his debt to be paid off. But he was quite severe in his mannerism. He was so severe that he said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that I will make life difficult for you unless you give me my money back. Now this was the nature of some of these Bedouins, because they never knew the etiquettes of Islam. So the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam companions, they became very angry by this, and they took hold of him and they said, "What's up with you? Don't you know who you're talking to?" He said, "I'm only asking for my right. Inni atlubu haqqi." I'm only asking for my right. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Halla ma'a sahibil haqqi kuntum." He said, why didn't you support the one who needs to fulfill his right? Meaning that you're supporting me, support him. He wants his right. Subhanallah, you know, the hilm or the forbearance of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam can be seen so clear here. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he sent for Khawla bint Qais. Khawla bint Qais, she came, and Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, have you got any dates? So that you may loan me these dates, and when some dates appear again in the harvest time, I will pay you back off with those dates. So she said, fine. She gave, she said, Bi anti ya Rasulullah, you know, I can sacrifice my father for your sake, Messenger of Allah. So then she gave him the dates, and he gave those dates to the Bedouin, and the Bedouin was fed by those dates. And then the Bedouin said, Awfayt, awfallahu lak. He said, you have completed your promise. May Allah fulfill His promise to you, or may Allah make fulfillment for you. That's when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he then commented, he said, Ulaika khiyarun nas. Innahu la quddisat ummah la ya'khudhu ad-da'i fiha haqqahu ghayr muta'ti'. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, these are the best of people. No community of people are purified. Notice the word quddisat. No community of people are purified until you find that he said, no community of people are purified where a weak person cannot get his right without getting harmed. What this means is that if you find a community of people and the weak person can get his right without being harmed, without going through trouble, then that community is a purified community. But if he has to go through trouble, where he has to go through a lengthy process to try and get his right, then that community is not purified. So this Sahih Hadith tells us that the word Quddus means, has a clear link to purification. And Allah Azza wa Jal will purify the society with people who exist like this in the society. So now you have the word taharah, the word purification, that is clearly linked with Allah Azza wa Jal, and He will give His purity to whoever He wants, to others. So He's the one who with purity, and He will purify whoever He wants. So for example, the first are His angels. His angels are purified. They have no nuqs, they have no deficiency, they have no lack. His anbiya, His prophets, they are purified. And whosoever from His creation He wants them to be purified, they will be purified. So these are from the things that Allah Azza wa Jal will do for His servants.